Good morning, guys. Today we shall be creating a CRUD API in Node.js, and as you can see, this is my window, and there's nothing in this. It's just a folder. So I'll start by initializing my project. So I'll run npm init -y. Then from there, I'm going to run tsc -init. Okay. So I'm going to paste in some code in the package.json. Then I'll also paste some code. Okay, so specifically I'm pasting some code on the scripts. Okay, so as you can see, the first script that I've pasted is test. We use it for testing. The second script is dev, and we use it for running the server in development mode. So this is going to give me ability to start the server by running npm run dev. Then npm start, we use it for starting the server in production mode. It gives us the ability to run the server using the command npm start. Then post install, we use it for generating and making migrations to our database using Prisma. Okay, then from there I'll go to my tsconfig. Then I'll paste in this code. Okay, save. Okay, so that's so. Then from there I need to install some dependencies. Remember the previous time I told you that we have dependencies, and we also have dev dependencies. So dependencies are those dependencies that we also call production dependencies, and we need those dependencies when we deploy the server. Then then development dependencies, these are the dependencies that we need in production mode. So I'll start by installing the production dependencies. So I'll install express cause. Then I'll also install class validator. Then I'll also install http status codes. I'll install Morgan. I'll install compression. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's all. Let's give it a minute or two. So as you have seen, we've got a folder that has been created, which is node modules. So whenever you install dependencies, this is where the dependencies go. So from there, I'm going to install the dev dependencies. Okay, so I'll start by installing uh, the express types. Then from there, I'll go to calls types. From there, I'll go to Morgan has got types. Then from there, I'll go to compression. If you want to know more about the dev dependencies, you can go to npm and read the documentation from there. So we've got Morgan compression. Okay, and then I'll install Prisma and Prisma client. Okay, let's give it a minute or two. So as this is installing, I'll create a new folder, then I'll name it source, and inside I'm going to create a file called main.ts. Then I'll also create a folder called config, and inside this folder I'm going to create a file called prisma.ts. Okay, then I'm also going to create another folder which is called school. Okay, and inside school, okay, let's wait for this. Okay, so let's wait for the dependencies to finish installing. then we can proceed. But in the meantime, we can create some files inside the school. So the first one is dto.ts, then the second one is collection.ts, then the third one is router.ts. Okay, that's good. So let's wait for these dependencies to finish installing. The reason why it's taking long is because of prisma. Prisma is a very big dependency, so it takes a lot of time and good internet for it to finish installing. So let's wait a bit. It's taking long. What's going on? Let's give it some time. Let's give it some time. Okay, it's almost there. Let's give it a minute. Let's give it a minute. Let's chill. Let's chill. Let's chill. It's taking long. Let's be patient. Let's be patient. Patient. Okay, it's installing. It's almost done. I think the internet is poor, so let's be patient, or maybe it's just my bundles. Okay. So in advance, I'll go to the config prisma.ts, then I'll paste that code. Okay. So when the dependencies finish installing, I'm going to initialize Prisma. And by virtue, you're going to see that the Prisma folder doesn't sit in the source folder. So in order to make the Prisma folder be accessible in the source folder, we have to make this configuration and paste this code in the prisma.ts. Okay, so let's chill for this to finish installing. Let's chill. This is taking forever. So let's start writing the code in advance. So I'll start by initializing an application, and it's going to inherit the properties from application from express. Then I'll give it the value of express. Okay, so I'll need to import express from express. Okay, then I'll define a constant variable which is port, then I'll give it a value of maybe 2000, like that. Then I need to configure the middlewares, and under the middlewares, this is where we've got Morgan. Okay, so it's done installing the dependencies. Okay, so this is where we've got Morgan. So the first thing is express.json. Okay, then the other one is Morgan, and I'll use it in dev mode. Okay, then I'll go to compression, like that, then cause policy. Okay, like that. So import cause from cause. Okay, that's save. And then after that, I'll create a function called start. Okay, I'll create an arrow function called start, which is not going to take any parameters. Then inside, I'm going to say app.listen on port. So our application is going to be listening on this port. Then it has to return something. So it's going to print a message, app is listening on, okay, http localhost, and the port is going to be the port that has been defined in the constant variable port. Save, then I'll call the function without parameters. Okay, that's good. So let's try to run the server. Npm run dev. Success. So we've gotten this response has been printed in the console, meaning the server has run successfully. Then from there, I'll make an initial route, which is the app.get. It's going to return a message. Okay, so it's going to use request and response like that. Okay, then it's going to send a message, app is running. That's all. Then I need to append the request by an underscore. Save. Okay, that's good. Then I'll clear the terminal and I'll initialize prisma. Okay, good. So we've got prisma there. Then I'll open another terminal, a SQL. Then I'll create a database there. Okay. So I'll run the command create schema. Then the schema name will be school. Okay. Then I'll go to the .env. So I'll put my database username there, just Postgres, and my local database password there. Then my database name, which is school. Save and exit. Then I'll go back to the schema and I'll create a model. I'll name it school. This model is going to have an ID of integer type, and these IDs are supposed to be unique, and by default they have to be auto incrementing themselves. Then the school is going to have a name, it's going to be a string. Then the school is also going to have let's say a description, which is also going to be a string. Okay, that's all. So we've got two fields. Then from there I'm going to make a migration. So I'll run npx prisma db push. Or let me run npx prisma generate, because I need to see a migration folder here. Then npx prisma migrate dev. Okay, so we've got a migration folder here, meaning this table has been created in our school database. Okay, so let's run the server npm run dev. Okay, so from the schema I'll go to the DTO, then I'll also open the collection. Okay, so I'll be moving like this from the schema to the DTO, then to the collection, then the routes, then back to the main. Okay, so from schema to the DTO. Okay, so in the DTO I'm going to define a class for creating school. So I'll name it create school DTO. Okay. It has got the name and the description. So I'm going to define the name and the description in the DTO. So I'll use these decorators. The first one is not empty. Then the second one is the data type. Okay, it's the data type. Then the field name is name, which is of string type. So if you pay much attention to this, the first one is not empty. We use it to tell the server that when someone is making a request to create a school, this field should not be empty. The name field should have data, and the data type should be string. Okay. Then the other field is the description. So just append the description here and save. Then after that, I need to get rid of these errors. So I need to initialize a constructor. Then I'll give it a value of maybe D, which is inheriting the values of creating school DTO. Okay, and then I'll use a this.keyword to access the values. Like that. Description, d.description. Okay, save. So the errors have gone. Then from there, I'll go to the collection and I'll create a class called school collection. Okay, then I'll create functions. So this is going to be async create. Okay, then I'll create another function. So we should have like 5 functions. Okay, this is get or this is get by ID. This is update. This is delete. Okay, so these are the functions. Then I'll start with a create. So inside there, I'll pass the parameters, which is request from express and response from express. Okay. Then I'm going to initialize a try and catch block. Okay, then like that, I'll start with a part for catching errors. So whenever we catch an exception, we should return a response with a status code of internal server error. Okay, then I'll give it a JSON message of the error itself. Then sometimes we can have errors that have got messages like that. Okay, then I'll come back and create a new object which is data for this class, which is creating school DTO. Then the data for this will be accessed in the request.body of each request that we make. Okay, then I'm going to validate this request using validator. So I'll use await validate. Okay, then I'll pass the data. Good, like that. Then I'll check for any errors. So if errors dot length exceeds 0, I have to cancel this request by returning a status code of conflict and a JSON message which is going to map the errors. Okay, like that. Good. Then after that, I'm going to create a constant variable which is school. Okay, which is school is equals to await. prisma. Make sure you import prisma from config. Yeah, like that. Then you have to click on the model, which is school. So if you create a model which is like a user or maybe a book, it has to be user or book here. Then the method which is create. Okay, so this method takes in data in the request body, and we've got a name. So name, this is a field. The data is coming from this uh, this new object which I created, which is a new object of the creating school class. Okay, so it's going to be data dot name, then the description. Okay, data dot description. Yeah, like that. Okay, so seems like we've got an error. Okay, so we've got an exception. Oh, here it's supposed to be cap a small letter, string, yeah, like that. Good. So the error is gone. Then we have to return a response with the status code of created, like that. Then in JSON, we have to return the school that has been created, like that. Okay, so that's all for this function. Then I'll copy the common stuffs, which is this. Then I'll use them wherever I run and write the same code. Okay, for example, here, then I'll copy this and I'll use it even here, even there, even there. Then I'll go back and get this and paste it here. Okay, there, like that, and save. Good. So I'm going to minimize this, then I'll focus on this. I'm going to append the rec because we are not using the request in this function. Then from there, I'm going to say const schools, okay, is equals to await prisma dot school dot find main. So this function is going to find anything. So it's going to fetch everything that's in the school table and return it. Then to return it, I'm supposed to return a response with a status code of okay, and in JSON I'm supposed to return the schools or the schools. So I'm just going to 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 come up with a conditional statement. So if schools dot length is greater than 0, we should return this, else we should return this same response but with a message. Okay, so with the message, there are no schools in database. Okay, like that. Okay, then we go to the next one. So this is going to be I'll start by defining a constant variable which is id, because I'll be passing the id of a school in the request parameters. So it's going to be rec.params.id, like that. Okay, then make a request, const school is equals to await prisma dot school dot find unique, okay, like that, where the id is equals to the id that I will be providing in the request parameters. Then after doing this, I'm supposed to return a response with a status code of okay, yeah, like that. Then the JSON supposed to be the school that I found, okay, like that. But I need to create a conditional statement. So if no school, this is a not get. So if we make a request, then we find that there's no school by the ID provided, we have to return a response, the status code of not found, and the JSON of a message, which is no school found by that ID. Okay, then else you have to return this response. That okay, save. So this function is done. Even this function is done. Okay. So for now, I'll skip this one because we need to make a DTO for it. So I'll go to this and define an ID. Like that. Then const it's going to be const school. I need to find the school first, then delete it. So await prisma.school dot find unique, like that. Okay. Then if no school, like that, then I'm supposed to return a response with a message. Okay. Then in JSON, I'm going to return a message, and I'll say school not found. Okay. Else, I'm going to await and use prisma school, then delete. Okay, like that, where the ID is equals to the ID. Then after that, I'll return a response with a status code. Okay, okay, and the JSON, a message, school deleted successfully. Okay, like that. Good. Then I'll go back to this DTO and I'll copy the DTO above. I'm just going to change a few things. So the first one is the name. So I'll give it update. Even here, I'll give it update. Then I'm going to change this to is optional, meaning this field can be there or it cannot be there. Okay, like that. Then I'll put a comma, I'll put a question mark there. Okay, and save. Then I'll go back to this function and I'll define a new object. which is data is equals to new update school dt or rec.body, like that. Okay, then const data is equals to new update school dt or rec.body. Then the next step is const errors is equals to await validate data. Okay, like that. Then if errors.length is greater than 0, then I'm going to return a response with a status code of conflict. Then in JSON, I'm going to map the errors. Yeah, like that. Good. Then the next request, or before anything, I was supposed to define the ID, because the first thing we have to find a certain school by ID, then update its data. So rec.params.id, like that. Save. Then const school is equals to await prisma dot school dot update. Okay, so we're texting a query which is to find the school. So it's going to be where id is equals to id, then the data, it also takes in the data, so which is going to be the name from data.name and description from data.description. Okay, like that. Then after that, I'm supposed to return a response with the status code of okay 200, and in JSON I'm going to return the school itself and save. So these are the functions that I've created. Then from this I'll go to the route, and the first thing I'll do is I'll create a route. So I'll name it school router, okay, which is coming from router provided by Express. Then I'll create a new instance of the school collection, like that, is equals to new school collection. Yeah, like that. Then I'm going to export default school router. Yeah, like that. Then I'll start making the routes now. So these are the endpoints. So I'll start by school router dot, then the method. So the first one is going to be post, and inside this is where I'm going to put the path and the function. So it's going to be like that. Okay, so the second one is going to be a get method. So the post is used to post data into the database, then get is used to get data from the database, then put is used to update data that's in the database, then delete is used to delete data that's in the database. Okay, so each method is going to have a path and a function. So for creating a school, I'll give it a path of create, like that. Okay, then after the double quotes, I'll append it with a comma, then I'll use the new instance of school collection, and after appending it with a full stop, I can see all the functions that are there. So for this create, I'm going to assign it to this function. Okay, so meaning whenever I use the / create in Postman or anywhere. I'm pointing out to this create function. Then I'll go to the next one, which is, I'll just name it all, meaning it's getting all. Then school collection dot get all, yeah, like that. This one is a little bit different because I'm getting by ID. I'm getting schools by ID, so I have to make it like that. Then school collection dot get by ID, like that. Okay. Then update by ID, like that. School dot update, like that. Then delete by ID, okay, comma, school collection dot delete, yeah, like that. So I'm done. But remember, whenever you run the server, it executes the code that's in the main.ts. So in order for my server to access these routes, I'm supposed to make an instance of this route in the main.ts. So just after this, I'm going to say app.use. Then I'll give it a path. So I'll say school. Okay. Then here I'll say school router. Yeah, like that. Good. Then I'll go to Postman. I'll open Postman. Oh, okay. Instead of Postman, because I don't think OBS is able to access my Postman. So I'll try to use standard client. I pray it works. So I'll create a new collection. I'll name it school. Then in school, I'm going to create a request and I'll call this request create. Okay, like that. Then I'll change the method to post. Then the URL should be this one here, http localhost 2000 / this, because this is going to make it possible for me to access all the routes that are in this school router. So I'm supposed to append it with school, then here, which is create. Then in the request body, I'm supposed to provide the data, which is the name. It can be DMI. Then the description, so it can be, this is my school. Let's try to send this request. Okay, so as you can see, we've created a new school. So let's create another school, which is UNLAS. So this is University of Lusaka, like that. Send. So we've got another school with an ID of 2. So let's make another request, which is get all. Okay. So it's going to be HTTP school, like that. Then here it's going to be all. Okay. Send. So it's returning an array of what's in the database, or the schools that are in the database. Now I want to return a response where it has to be a single school. So I'll do that by using an ID. So if I want to fetch the first school, which is DMI, I can use its ID. If I want to fetch one last, I can go for an ID of 2. So I'm going to append this and pass in the ID. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a single school. ID 1, it's DMI. Okay, then I'll go to the next one, which is delete. Okay, so I'll change the method to delete. Okay, then there I'm going to append it. Okay, then I'll delete one, which is I'll delete two unlas. Okay, so unlas has been deleted. If I go back to the get all and try to fetch all, I'm going to get that. So if I try to fetch two, no school found by that ID, meaning unlas is no longer there. Then I'll try to update DMI, which is in the database. I'll change the method to put, like that. Then the ID. Then in the request body, I'll provide the field that I want to update. So in this case again, I'll update the field to DMI sent Eugene. Okay, and send. So as you can see, I'm going to get the updated school. So that's all for today.